Hello everyone, I'm Taylor with Innovative Physical Therapy, and this is
Connor Batriel, owner and trainer at Fit20 in Ponte, Vedra.
And we just want to say happy National Physical Fitness Month, and we just want to talk to you guys a little bit about physical fitness, what it's good for, and really talk a little bit more about the injury side and the prevention side. So, Connor, what are the most common injuries you see with people that come in here to work out?
Most of the common injuries that I see when people come in for their intro training and I review their health forms, lower back injuries are super common, as well as knee injuries and also shoulder injuries.
Okay. I think that's something that we treat all the time, and let's just preface it this way. They don't get hurt here. This is prior to them coming in. But when people tend to start physical fitness programs and they start to want to get back in shape, we see a lot of like shin splints, knee pain because they want to start running. And the most common thread for us is they start too fast, right? It's the whole expression brick by brick, right? It really is something, especially in physical fitness, so less is more. It's not the weekend warrior, let's go out and do as much as we possibly can, because then we get sore, and as we fatigue, we start to lose form, and then as we lose form, put ourselves at risk for injuries. So I love the way you guys train, and when we look at rehabilitation in general, like let's say you injure your shoulder or your back or your knee, like your common three things, what we tend to see a lot of is form tends to be an issue. So here, it's one-on-one to really help you guys make sure your form is good. And what I love so much about it is that he really stresses and strengths. Right, and we'll let Connor go through that in a little bit just to kind of walk you through what they do. But our biggest problem is we don't have a lot of stability, and if we don't use those stabilizing muscles, we see a lot of injuries. That's why we see people like, I bent down to pick up a piece of paper off the floor and I threw my back out. Right? So their whole thing was those stabilizing muscles that help protect the back really weren't functioning well, and that's why they had the pain they had. So it's like I wasn't prepared to lift something, or if you ever try to pick up something that's heavier than you thought it was, that's one that tends to get people all the time. And then it's about managing your load, right? So typically when someone comes up with an injury from working out, it usually takes about 8 to 12 visits of physical therapy to really get them back to functioning appropriately, so they don't have the pain, getting up and down off couches, getting up and down off the floor, reaching overhead for the shoulder injuries, or walking and running like they would if they had knee pain. Once we get through that, that is just the first step, right? It's getting your muscles to function well, getting your joints to move better, and then it's getting the muscles around it to strengthen so that they can support the load that you put on it while you're exercising and going through your physical fitness regime. That's where Fit20 comes in, and maintaining that strength that we've built through physical therapy is very important. I think we talked about this earlier. The fact that people go to PT and then they just stop doing their exercises, that's when those aches and pains start to creep back in. So having someone to hold you accountable is a really good way to maintain those gains. Connor, do you mind telling us a little bit about what you guys do at Fit20 and kind of how you guys work to help people in those ways?
Of course. So I think that, like Taylor said, a lot of times when people get re-injured post PT and injury recovery, it is because they aren't maintaining that strength or that muscle tension after their recovery. So here at Fit20, we really focus on slow motion resistance training on 6 machines. So it's great because it's a full body workout. Because of how slow we go, it's very controlled, safe, and also effective. And you also have one of our trainers here that always makes sure you're doing the machines correctly, your posture is correct, your form is correct, your technique is correct. So we really emphasize how safe it is for those post-injury workouts.
I think it's great too, because the time under tension, when you guys do the slow, controlled movements, it really influences the stabilizing muscles that we talked about, so that when you do go up and down, stairs or sit down, get up, or bend down to pick something up, those stabilizing muscles then are firing to help you with those activities. Do you have any recent success stories you'd like to share?
I have one member who, and she's in her 70s, and she's lost all that strength from aging, and she's torn shoulder injury, or she's had shoulder injuries, she's had knee injuries, and she's always just struggled just to climb steps with all constant aches and pains. And that was one of her struggles when she came in, and she said, this is one of my 3-month goals. And through the work she put in here, she was able to improve her muscle strength, and be able to do her everyday activities, including climbing stairs with her laundry, because her laundry machine was on the 2nd floor. And she's told me, she's like, I don't have those aches and pains anymore, my knees feel stronger, my legs feel stronger, and I also have more support and balance as well.
That's awesome. We love that too, and it decreases your risk for falls. So I know as we get age, as we start to get a little bit older, you know, our balance starts to be a little bit off, so when they increase their risk for falls, we want to try to maintain that, because a lot of times falls is really what pushes us into a lot of those aches and pains. What we would like to do now is just show you guys kind of what they do, and Connor's going to demonstrate his favorite exercise here.
So as Taylor mentioned, I wanted to come over here and give you guys a little demonstration of my favorite machine in the studio, the leg press. So I want to emphasize again how personalized we do make the program for everybody. We preset every machine for each member individually. We have a proprietary app that we track your progress with and save all of your seat settings so that it's consistent every time you come in. We also make sure we go super slow with our motions, like I said. So starting the leg press, you'll see how slow I go with pushing out and following the sensor line that is individualized on each machine. Again, I'm nice and slow. We never want to lock out the joints because that allows the muscles to relax. Again, emphasizing that time under tension per each machine. And what going slow like this does for each member is it engages all the muscle fibers in the respective muscle group you're working, which takes you to your personal optimal stimulus point. Oh, perfect. Feeling some burn. And what we try to do is get you to that optimal stimulus point in less than 2 minutes per machine, ideally between 1 minute and 20 seconds and 2 minutes. And then once you do hit your optimal stimulus point, we actually have you hold the machine for 10 seconds, just to kind of get that last little bit of energy out of that respective muscle fiber.
So Connor, thanks for demonstrating that. I have to ask, do you practice what you preach?
Oh, absolutely. I always make sure to do this at least once a week. I may not always get my cardio workout in, but I always make sure that I get my Fit20 in. I think it's essential. Even at 26, strength training does improve everything about my life. Just some of the personal benefits I've seen. My posture's gotten better. I can actually do pull-ups again, believe it or not. My overall endurance has gotten better. And just to think about where I started 3 years ago when I started doing the workouts, just take the leg press for example. I started at 80 kilograms, which is about 160 pounds, and now I'm at 188 kilograms, which is about 215 pounds. So I've increased my weight or resistance on the leg press, you know, I've more than doubled it.
Yeah. And how does that make you feel like moving around?
I can definitely see an improvement. Obviously I just feel stronger overall. Overall performance in my day-to-day life is better, my flexibility's improved, and just, again, the little things that I never thought I would see improvement in. Even at 26, I do have some aches and pains. I did have a really bad femur break about 6 years ago, so my hip and my knee have been bugging me ever since, but those have since been improved, and overall improvement in my overall well-being.
That's awesome. And that's great, right? Because it just goes to show you that even though the movements are slow, and when we think traditional weightlifting, we think like a lot of movement, big, strong, lift a lot of weight. If you're having any aches and pains and you want to get it looked at, so maybe you could run a little bit more, or you could lift a little bit more, or you could work out a little bit more, give us a call at Innovative Physical Therapy or John Goetze Physical Therapy. We can talk to you guys about your problems, and you can speak to one of our experts today. And if you're interested in any of this Fit20 stuff, I think you guys do like a free introductory session, is that correct?
Correct. We always offer a free introductory session. That session does take about an hour because one of our trainers does do a health intake form with the potential member, evaluate health and fitness goals, as well as let them try the machines themselves.
That's great. Like, we really want to make sure you're safe getting back to working out so we don't have those setbacks, so we can continue to push our goals and continue to do things we want to do, right? Like, we have 3 locations. One's in Jax Beach, one's on the south side, and one's in Ponte.
Conveniently, we have the similar locations. We have one location at Jacksonville Beach and one location at Tapestry Park, which is at JTB and Southside, and then I'm at the location out in Nocatee.
Thanks again for sticking with us. If you have any questions, give us a call today. Bye.